Good morning, all of you. We'll start. In earlier lecture, we have gone through the advantages or what are the things related to the C language. And now here we will see, though we have started yesterday also, that yes, there are different C compilers and related to that, different tokens we have gone through. Here, if you just check that there are tokens in C. Basically, we have seen that there is a opening parenthesis, then we do have this words and then closing parenthesis and then semicolon. So if you just look at now semicolon, as we have seen that this is a statement terminator. So any kind of statement, or basically if you just look at the syntax, so that syntax or that particularly statement or that line, if complete, in that case, at the last, we have to give this as the semicolon as a terminator. So each individual statement must be ended with a semicolon. Now it indicates the end of one logical entity, or one logical entity is over, or that particular line is over. In that case, we can give this semicolon or this semicolon. These are the called as statement terminator. So here we have given, we have also given here. And then we also seen comments. In the last lecture, we have gone through a particular one simple program, and then we have seen also, if suppose comments are something like a text in your C program, they are ignored by the compiler. So if they are ignored by the compiler, then why should we use it? So we have to use it because suppose a particularly a third person or the other person, if he wants to check the program, so he should know that yes, these lines will specify certain parameter. Then other lines will specify the other parameter. Other lines will specify the other parameter. So likewise, or above that line, you can give certain XYZ comment so that the other person will be able to know that yes, these lines are related to this part. These lines are specifically related to this part. So it is good practice that if suppose if you are going to use this command, then yes, you know that this is going to be ignored by the compiler. So it's no problem in that case. So if suppose if you are going to use slash and star and then closing it with star and slash. So these are the things. So in between, you can write down anything, whatever the comments you would like to do. So that is considered as the comment. So this line or this line is considered as comment line. Yes, you know that ignored by the compiler. So it is not going to just check that what exactly the syntax is. If you're writing the slash and star starting with. So we have seen we have seen semicolon, we have seen token, and then we have seen comments. Now the next part is identifier. Now what is identifier? So identifier is a name which is used to identify a variable or function or any other user-defined item. So you have to give certain name. Suppose you want to write a particularly equation. So in that equation, you have to give certain thing. So what it should be? Suppose you have to give certain name. So or function. In that case, This is called as a identifier. You're writing a program, and you want to give the equation, you have to give the certain function or variable. Suppose you have to give here the value of pi. The value of pi you have to give, or value of, say, modulus of elasticity you want to give. In that case, how to assign, or what should be the rules, or what is exactly this identifier? So identifier starts with a letter A to Z in capital or in small, even or an underscore followed by the letters, underscore, and digits. So what it allows? It allows letter, it allows digits, but it do not allow punctuation characters. So whatever punctuation characters are, just like at the rate, dollar sign, percentage sign. So within identifiers, these are not allowed. So also you should know that C is a case sensitive programming language. So if you write here capital M and small m, so there are two different identifiers in C. So suppose if you just write here in small, you can even start with underscore. You can even start with this 2 or 3 letter or only one. Okay. So this can be allowed. So these are some examples of acceptable identifier. What can be accepted? So if you are going to give this A, then number, and then letter, and then again number, okay, that will do. Even you can give here space. You can give a space, no problem. You have made this V capital letter, that is allowed. So the thing is, you can start with this letter, you can start with the digits, and even this combination of letter and digit is also possible. But such kind of punctuation characters, there are many punctuation characters, you cannot use those things. And just remember, it is a case-sensitive programming language. Well, apart from that, there are certain keywords, or you can say the other name of keywords is reserved words. So these reserved words may not be used as constant or variable or any other identifier name. So you cannot use it. These names you cannot use as identifier names. So just like auto, break, case, char, const, continue, default, do, double, else, enum, extern, float, for, go to, if, int, long, register, return, short, sign, size of, static, struct, and there are many others. So these there are certain reserved words which cannot be used as a constant or variable. You want to write here pi equals to 3.14. Okay, instead of pi, you want to use this. Somebody wants to say, no, I want to use this auto instead of pi, but that is not allowed. Why it is not allowed? Because it is a keyword. Auto is keyword, so it is not allowed. So you want to use here for equals to something x plus y. It is not allowed. You cannot use this for equals to x plus y because for is a keyword. You cannot use that. So likewise, these are the list of keywords which you cannot use as identifier. As identifier. Then now white space in C. A line containing only white space, possibly with a comment, is known as a blank line, and a C compiler totally ignores it. So C compiler totally ignores it. So if you have any kind of white space, or you have not written anything on that line, it is completely blank. So why should we give the white space? So what is the use of it? So white space is a term used in the C to describe blank or tab, new line character, and comment. So it separates one part of a statement from another and enables the compiler to identify where one element in a statement, suppose there can be any number of elements, and that particularly such as int, ends, and the next line begin. Therefore, in the following statements, you can see that yes, you can give the white space. So just like here, well, then there must be at least one white space character. Usually, white space character, it means it's space simply. And in terms of C language, it is called as a white space, but you know there is a space. So that space is something, it's called as a white space character. Between int and age that we have seen in the last one here, this one, it is called as a this white space for the compiler to be able to distinguish them. On the other hand, in the following statement, you can see fruit equals to apple plus oranges. So given here semicolon, and that is a double slash to have what exactly this is all about. Get the total fruit. So what does this line indicate? So it line indicates this one. So now here, if you can see that no white space characters are necessary between fruit and this equals to sign, or even equals to and apple. But you're free to include some if you wish to for readability purposes. Here you can see that if you wish to, you can give here white space, but otherwise, it totally depends upon or the user. It depends upon that particular programmer if he wants to. But yes, this, as you can say, this is again something a compiler totally ignores it. So we have seen here int age, then semicolon. So the other part is now C data type. So we have seen now, till now, we have seen that yes, what are the different tokens, then semicolon, use of semicolon, comments, even identifier, keywords, white space. And now we'll see data types. Now we can see different data types. So what exactly? There are different basic types. They are arithmetic type and consist of integer and floating point types. So basic types, these are say types and description. If we just take, if we just go with the first one, and what is basic type in this data type? So there is one basic type. Yes, you can go ahead with either arithmetic. So in arithmetic, you can have this integer and floating point. So integer, yes, the name itself suggests that yes, you want to give a particularly integer kind of, or particularly that values will have the integer. In that case, you can just go ahead with that. And simply floating type, where you can say a floating point number or a floating point type. It is something called as which is not a which is not a integer and will have a decimal point. So if you just look at the example of integer type, so that must be say 31 or 14, 31, 32 like this, and we do not have the integer. Yes, we do not have the integer, so 50. But if you just look at the floating type, so there can be integers 3.123 or 5.105. So likewise, if there is a decimal point, and specifically if we want to go ahead with the arithmetic calculations, in that case, we can simply go ahead with this integer type. So integer type, yes, we can give the particularly any kind of integers here. While floating, you have this decimal point. So that was related to the basic type here. And then we have the enumerated type. The next part is the enumerated type. So they are again arithmetic types, and they are used to define variable that can only be assigned certain discrete integer values throughout the program. So if you want to assign a particularly, you may require that yes, there should be certain part you should check always, and you require it. So these discrete variables, if you wish to use, in that case only we can go ahead with this enumerated type kind of data type. This will take, or you can say this discrete data type, this discrete integer values will be certain values or particular values there would be. And then there is a type void. So void, what does this void indicate? That no value is available. So if you are going to use this, if you are going to use this void, and that will be something there is no value is available there, and that's the reason you consider here void. So void, the name itself suggests that yes, not or do not have the value, it is empty, and that's the reason that void, what does that indicate? Yes, indicates that yes, there is no value available. Then derived type. So first one was the basic, then second is the enumerated type, and then third is the void. Okay, and then derived type. So derived type is something you can have this pointer, array, structure, union type. function type. So the all those things we will be covering one by one. In that case, you will be able to understand. But at this point, what you should know, what should be in your mind, that yes, this consists of data types, and depending upon what kind of data you want to give. So it can be integer, it can be say decimal having, it can be certain character, that can have certain array, that can have certain specific structure. So in that case, which kind of data type should be used, and how to assign that thing? We have to give, yes, we know that, yes, it is particularly machine one, because whatever language you are going to use, that is called as a machine language. And that's the reason you have to give every time, yes, what kind of data I want to give. Whenever you want to talk, yes, you can directly talk, just like this number is 123.21, but you cannot say, or you cannot go directly for the machine language. You have to first of all define, yes, this number is going to be the decimal point, or which will have consisting of the decimal point, or this will have the characters. And then in that case, if you just assign this, okay, x is equals to something number 123, that is, if you already assigned this as integer type, then okay, it will assign. But instead of integer, if number has been written just like 123.01, so that consists of decimal point, so this will not be valid and it will give you error or warning. So that's the reason, first of all, you have to define, yes, it is a integer type or floating type. Or sometimes it may have certain void, or it may have certain pointer, it may have certain array structure like that. So yes, we will definitely go one by one with that. Now the array type and the structure type are referred to collectively as the aggregate type. This is also called as, if you are going to use this array as well as structure, so these two, if you are going to use the combined, so that can be consisting of the aggregate. The name itself says that is the aggregate. So the type of function specifies the type of the function's return value. If you are going to, what kind of function you are going to specify. There are different functions that we will see, and that kind of, if you are given the data type, accordingly, that will return the value. Then we will see some, say there are certain one by one, we will see this is the integer type. So integer type, so following table gives you the detail about the standard integer type and its storage size, as well as the value ranges. Well, so the first one is the in integer type. So this varies char. Char storage size is 1 byte. Value ranges from negative 128 to 127 or 0 to 255. While unsigned, the name itself suggests, so you won't have this kind of value, negative value. So you'll have only 0 to 255. So that is called as unsigned char. So unsigned, or you can say even sometimes signed char and unsigned. So that is called as a character data type, that particularly whatever the values they are going to be stored, whatever values you are going to give, that would be stored. And what is the range of it? So range of unsigned character, or char, you can say, that is nothing but the signed or unsigned in between that. So that value is ranges from 0 to 255. Then there is a signed char. If you are going to use signed char, So in signed CHAR, this particular will have the 1 byte, that is the storage size. Similarly, you have this value ranges from minus 128 to plus 127. If you're going to use INT, then it required 2 or 4 bytes, and this value ranges from minus 32768 to 32767, or minus, you just look at this number is a huge. So most of the time you can use this also. Then unsigned INT. So just like this, unsigned INT toward 4 bytes, so 0 to 65, 535, or 0 to this number. So you have this range, a bigger range. Then there is a short, will have the 2 bytes and the ranges from minus 32768 to 32767. While unsigned short will have this 2 bytes and it ranges from 0 to 65535. And the name itself suggests long. So long is something have the 4 bytes and it ranges from this minus value to this plus value. While unsigned long, so you won't have this sign. So it starts with 0 to this. So that's the number. Unsigned, and so we are going with the integer type. And in the integer type, you can see there's the first one is the CHAR, then unsigned CHAR, you got the storage size, and then value ranges from similarly signed CHAR, INT, unsigned INT, you have the short, unsigned short, then long and unsigned long. So when we'll go for the programming part, then this will be better understand. So suppose to get the exact size of a type or a variable on a particular platform, you can use the size of a operator. So what is that particularly thing? So the expression size of type that will yield the storage size or the type in the byte. So it depends upon what kind of you have to give or what is the value ranges. And then and only then, according to that, you can go ahead with this kind of data type. So if you just look at this small program here, where we have used hash include this standard input output file that would be opened. So that's the reason we have given this one. And then hash include limit.h. That header determines various properties related to the variable type. So variable type so you got the different variable and there are different variable types. So to open that file, you have to use this hash include limits.h. And this here you can see that int man from here we have started it. So you have to give this as output and storage size for int. Okay, and you can give this as size of int, and that would give you the return. So what What does this indicate? So it indicates that yes, the first of all you have defined this, then you have defined you have also opened a file that is limits wherein what kind of integer types you want to use. Accordingly, this would get opened, and then you have given here storage size for this int. Int we know this is the int. So storage size for int. Okay. So that would be assigned here, and you will get in terms of, so whatever the thing you are written in terms of double quote, so that would be displayed as it is, and then size of int, whatever is there, that would be printed. So depend upon this kind of integer type, the different integer types are there, and according to that, according to the storage size and according to the value ranges, we have to use it. Similar to it, we also have this floating point type also. So as we have seen earlier, it was totally integer one, but now floating type, it means that if you have decimal, in that case, what are the different types? What is the storage size? What is the value ranges from, and then precision. So if you can look at this, the standard floating point type, the first one is the float, have the size of 4 bytes. So storage size, what does that mean? Why we are more specific, or why it is given the storage size? Because it totally depends upon how much memory required for your program or that particularly part. So it totally depends upon memory. So that's the reason what is the minimum memory size if you want to use, which would be helpful. So that's the reason the storage size is important. Then value ranges from this 1.2 into 10 raised to the power minus 38 to 3.4 into 10 raised to the power 38. Similarly, it has precision. Earlier, there was no precision, but up to 6 decimal places, this has the precision if you are going to use the float only. So after decimal point, whatever the digits are there, so up to the 6 decimal places, this will have the precision, accuracy. Then you got double. So double, the name itself suggests, yes, for this float, so whatever the storage size is there, whatever the value ranges are there, and whatever the precision is there, it is doubled, because storage size for double is 8 bytes. You have this value range from 2.3 into 10 to the power minus 308 to 1.7 into 10 to the power 308, and you got your 15 decimal places precision point. Similarly, you can go with the long double. So this would be more than that. So you got your storage size as 10 bytes. Then value ranges from 3.4 into 10 to the power minus 4932 to 1.1 into 10 to the power plus 493. So you all got from negative to positive, all negative to positive, because you're already in the floating point type. You do not have, earlier you have seen that yes, there is a signed or unsigned part. There is always signed, unsigned, signed, unsigned. So it is not here because you are already using this floating point type, which already have the decimal, and that's the reason you do not have, you already have this value ranges. and look at the precision size. The precision size is 19 decimal places. So, well, if you want to view a there is a very complex program, where is the, or you want to perform terrifically typical accuracy you want to achieve. So in that case, according to your needs, you can go ahead with this kind of floating point type. So suppose if you are going to use this header file float.h that defines macros and that allows you to use these values and other details about the binary representation of real numbers in the program. So we have seen in an earlier one, if you are going to use this limits.h, this hash include limits.h. What is the use of it? For integer type. For this integer type, you have to use limits.h. But in case you want to use this floating point, then use this hash include float.h. Hash include float.h. Suppose if you are given here, now we are simply using with this printf statement. So we are just giving only the output, or that message will be displayed, that storage size for float, then storage minimum float positive value, minimum float positive value. So you can give size of float, and this is, now you can see this size of float, FLT MIN or FLT max or FLT DIG. What does this indicate? So these indicate they are nothing but these identifiers. Anyways, we'll stop here. It is already, we are closing with the time. So we'll stop here, and you can mark your attendance in the Google Classroom. We'll see again this part 2 in the next lecture. So thank you.